Back in 2015, I began a through hike of the Appalachian Trail. I was eventually forced off due to financial reasons, but I experienced a lot along the way. Dogs barking. There's some dogs barking over there. Let me just start from the beginning. Those dogs are loud. Probably be able to hear it. I had just gotten off of the Smoky Mountain. That part of the trail is supposed to be pretty bad. It wasn't bad when I was there. The weather held up. I got done with that. I think it's about 70 or 80 miles. I finished that in about 5 days. So it was pretty quick going through there. I got right past that, a road crossing. I can't remember which road crossing exactly. There was a little hostel there, and I was tempted to stay, but I didn't really like the way it felt there. A lot of people say it's great, but I didn't like it necessarily. So I ended up saying, well, I'm gonna just get a couple things here. I think I got a Yoo-hoo and a couple of snacks. And I just kept on hiking. I was like, I'm gonna see how far I can get tonight. I think I went 10 to 15 miles that day, got to a shelter. There was a group up there, just hung out with them. We built a fire. It was a good night. Next morning, woke up to about probably a foot of snow on the ground. Me being from Georgia, we don't get a lot of snow, but I was used to some, so I was like, well, this won't be too bad. I'll go ahead and hike in this. All I had was tennis shoes. I didn't have any waterproof. I just had trail runners because that's what I wanted to hike it with. And if I did it again, I would hike it in those again because they're just lightweight and easy to move around in. I think I had some plastic bags to put over them. I can't remember if I did or not, but anyway, I started hiking, packed all my stuff up, started hiking in that snow. I didn't realize how bad the snow was gonna get. I got up onto a place called Max's Patch. The whole day I had been kind of down in a valley hiking, so the wind wasn't bad. The snow was bad, my feet were starting to get cold. It was not a fun time. But I got up on Max's Patch, and there's a little hill you have to go up to get on top of it, and that's where the trail goes. Once I started climbing that hill, I realized just how deep the snow was getting. It got up to my waist in some places. It was just like constantly hiking that thing, hiking up that hill. It was not a good time at all. It was very, very exhausting. I got very tired. So I realized maybe I should have not hiked in the snow because I started getting really cold and exhausted. And once I got up on top of Max's Patch, there was no trees, nothing around. It was just a bald. The wind was terrible. And I think the temperature with that wind factored in 3 degrees total with the wind factor. I think it was 12 degrees without it. So it was not something I was used to at all. So basically, I was like, well, I gotta get to a shelter. I gotta get to a shelter and figure out what I'm gonna do from there. So the next shelter was probably 8 miles. So I was like, okay, I can do 8 miles. So I kept walking in that snow, kept hiking. Got to like a fork in the trail. I was looking, could not figure out which, the trail's marked by white blazes on the trees and on rocks and wherever they can put them. But I couldn't see any. So I just took, I missed them because of the white snow maybe, I don't know why, but I didn't see it. So I took the wrong trail and ended up getting lost. I didn't know where I was. It just went one way and then it just stopped. There was no more trail. So I was like, oh, I need to turn around and go back. I went back, could not find where the other trail went. So I just kept going around in circles for a while, probably an hour, trying to figure out where the trail picked up. That made my morale even lower than it already was. It was already kind of low. Kept walking though, I was like, I gotta get to that shelter. Things weren't looking good. I was in a bad position. My feet were frozen, basically. I couldn't feel my feet at all. But I kept walking. I eventually found the trail again, thank God. Walked, kept walking. I had to go through some rhododendrons. If you know what those are, when the snow hits them, they get really low. And it was like real cramped in there. So I was trying to walk through those without knocking snow over onto myself, but that was not easy because they were right in the middle of the trail. If you walk through them and the snow gets all over you and it makes you even more wet than you already are. I know this all sounds bad, but I actually had a really good time on that trail, and I recommend it to anybody who's thinking about it. I would definitely attempt it at least. Make sure you bring enough money. So I finally made it through all those rhododendrons. I think I got lost one more time, but it wasn't as bad as the first time. Made it to that shelter, finally made it to that shelter. By that time I was soaking wet, my feet were frozen, my body just felt so numb. I thought I was in the first stages of hypothermia because I was shivering, and that is the first stages of hypothermia. But I made it to the shelter. It was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon at that point. I had started at like 7 in the morning. So it was a long, just for 8 miles, it was a long day. That's usually, in that time period, I could usually do almost 20 miles, but just doing 8 miles, that snow was holding me up a lot. So I got into the shelter, unpacked my bag. There was no one there, nobody. I was all alone. Got my sleeping bag out, got in that, took all my wet clothes off, changed clothes, got into my sleeping bag at 3 o'clock. Was too worn out, too cold to make any kind of lunch or supper or anything. I just wanted to get in there and go to sleep. So I got in there. I could not stop shivering. I could not stop shivering. I thought for sure that this was gonna be it. There was no one else around at this point. So probably about 15, 20 minutes later, I was like trying my best, just in my sleeping bag, trying to gather as much body heat as I could. This German couple walked by. It was a man and a woman. They saw me in there and they got concerned. They said, "You look really, really cold. Can we make you a hot dinner to warm you up?" And I was like, "Sure, I'm okay with that." So I gave them my cup. They made me some ramen noodles with their little stove. That warmed me up. I feel like if they had not come by and made me that hot meal to just get my spirits up and my warmth up, I don't know if I would have survived that. I have no idea. They left. People started coming in at that point. People started coming into the shelter and piling in. Everybody was like, "You look cold." And I said, "I am cold. I've been here since 3 o'clock and I've just been sleeping on and off, trying to warm up." And made some supper, ate some little snacks and stuff, just made sure I had everything that I needed for that night. Got some water, drank some water. It's very important to drink water even if you're not thirsty on the trail, anytime. So all that worked out. It ended up working out. I slept that entire night. I think I woke up a couple times to pee, but I woke up that next morning. I said, "I'm gonna make it all the way to town today," because there was the next town about 20 miles down the trail. So I was like, "I'm making it to town today. I'm having me a nice warm bed, a nice hot meal." The sun came up. I was super energized, super ready to go, especially after sleeping for that long. And I just did that 20 miles within like 4 hours, I think. It was really quick. It might not have been 4 hours, it might have been 6, I don't remember, but I remember it being super fast because I was super energized, ready to get off that mountain. And I thank God for that, because I do feel like I could have froze to death out there. And I was really, really close to hypothermia. So, thank you for watching this video. If you like what you see, make sure you like and subscribe. I make camping videos and all that type of stuff. So this is a good channel for you if you like hiking and camping videos.